Hey everyone, welcome to my garden. We're gonna do a chatty walkthrough, and there's a lot of butterflies flying around, so I'll try and catch as many of them on camera as I can, let you know who they are, and we'll chat about their host plants. I also recently went through my garden on a huge trim, chop, and clean up, and I moved a couple things around, so I'll show you what I did there too. So let's get started. It is right smack in the middle of the afternoon, and it's not so terribly hot today, and I'll take it. So let's go. Starting off right here in my recently trimmed shade garden, which is nicely staying trimmed looking, thankfully. And right there is my spice bush that I recently took some eggs in, which you'll be seeing in next week's videos. Hopefully you'll see some caterpillars. And the rouge plant is staying nicely trimmed like a hedge, so I like that. And there's my wild black cherry tree that I recently trimmed also, host plant to eastern tiger swallowtails. And the beautiful pawpaw that is the host to the zebra swallowtail, which in my last video, if you saw it, I had one visit my garden, and it was such a moment. It just came flying in. I happened to be out to see it. I have checked. I do not see any signs of caterpillars on my pawpaw tree here, but it was still wonderful, wonderful to see that butterfly. And then my beautyberry really needs a trimming. Look how tall it is. But since it's flowering and putting on the berries, that will turn this spectacular purpley pink color. There's the flowers, and then as I go down the stem, you can see the berries forming. Birds love this, so I'm just going to let it be because I want the birds to get all of those wonderful berries that are forming here in my shade garden. This beautyberry is so happy here. So happy in the understory setting under my oaks and some very tall viburnum. There's a little Gulf fritillary flying through. So we are on the back side of my Florida native wildflower garden. And if you look over towards the screen room, there's a group of Polydoma swallowtail butterflies. They were just flitting back and forth. Of course, when I go to film them, they went somewhere else. The main bloomers in the Florida native wildflower garden right now are, of course, tropical sage, Leavenworth tickseed. I do have a Stokes aster in here. And then the roundleaf thoroughwort, which I love, is blooming. There's another one there. And that's my tall ovate leaf plantain that looks like it's getting ready to bloom. Hopefully in the next few weeks you'll see it in one of my walkthrough videos. So this whole Florida native wildflower garden there's a horse's dusky wing, is full of Florida native wildflowers, hence the name. So all these plants are native to my state, and native plants are like the excellent way to go in gardening because they grew up with all of the pollinators and insects and butterflies and everything else that rely on the plants. They grew up together, so they know each other well, and native plants know just what to provide for the local ecology. So go native as much as you can, but then, you know, you can always add in other things. I'm seeing an aster blooming too down there. See that? Little aster. I think that's still that aster. We don't know who it is. But now that I'm looking at it, there's another one blooming back there. And I know what that one is because I think I have a sign on it. Huh, that's interesting. Okay, so here's the one that has the sign. Let me grab the sign. Oh no. No, 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 no. Ah, why? Those paint marker pens never let me down. And now. Oh my gosh, you guys, why is this happening? You know what? I can go back and research probably and find out who this is now. I hope all my signs aren't like that. Oh, please no. No, see, other signs are good. Okay, all right, okay. It's that one aster. It just wants to be the unknown aster. So, moving on. So just beside the Florida Native Wildflower Garden, I have a trellis of Passiflora incense, which is the host of the Gulf fritillary and the zebra longwings, and it's flowering. And it's so completely grown over the trellis, you can't even see the trellis under there, but there is a trellis. And I do need to come and give this a good trim. This is not one of the things that got trimmed the other day. But let's get in close and see one of the beautiful blooms, because they are spectacularly intricate. I mean, look at that. And bees love them. I've shown many times on my channel bees, like they'll get up under in there and they'll just roll all around in there. They just love it. But then right above this are my giant elephant ear leaves. Look how big. I love elephants, so it would go that I love elephant ear plants, but this one is a showstopper back here. It's right in front of my potted tree house, and it's huge. It's huge, and I love it. And it grows right up over my split leaf, which is also huge and takes up a large area. It wraps all the way around the potted tree house, which is up behind it, but you can't see it. And there's nothing going on in there. It's completely empty. I still haven't figured out what I want to do there yet. And then here are some gorgeous zinnias. This is the things I grew from seed garden. And I grew a lot of things from seed. I mean, look at all these things in here. And there's my red trash can with my yard trash in it from some of the work I did. And when we see that in the background of a video, it reminds us to tap the like button. So if you want to tap the like button for me, I would love that. So these zinnias are super tall, and they're in the little shelving units that I built to protect milkweed, which there is some in there. and also to protect the zinnias because rats were eating my milkweed and my zinnias, and so this kept them out. And as you can see, it worked because they grew finally, but we got a late start on the milkweed and the zinnias. Let me find a milkweed. Here's one. Here's a weed, but right here is a milkweed. I should pull that weed out. Come here, weed. Okay, so here is an Asclepias incarnata, which is a native milkweed. And so it's cool because it's got some leaves sticking up the top that could get eggs laid on them. But then when the caterpillars crawl down inside, they're protected from some predators. Not all, but they're protected from birds. So it's kind of cool. I actually like how that came together. And there's also a lot of zinnias still coming up and some other things growing in there. That's the thing about putting those that little shelving unit around it, is I really can't get in there and see what all's there. But when you come out to the front and look at it, you know, it really gives support to those tall zinnias. And then these in front are more things that I grew from seed. There is some Georgia aster, of course, marigolds. The pentas just came up there, so I don't know. There's some Stokes aster, of course, the Leavenworth tick seed. There's a pot of zinnias. These are hoary vervain, which butterflies love when it grows up and flowers. They will love that. There's a snow square stem. And who else is in here? There's more. Oh, there's some round leaf thoroughwort right there that I grew from seed, of course. So it's just kind of a fun little garden, but I don't know that I'll do things that I grew from seed garden again. This would be a really good spot to plant some lantana in. And some of these things in here are in pots. So I think maybe I might move them out and get some of the lantana in the ground, because right now all of my, and when I say lantana, I mean the Florida native lantana, not lantana from Lowe's or Home Depot. But when I can get that in the ground, some of you tell me it's going to get huge, and butterflies do love it. We've witnessed that many times in my garden. So I'd like to get some of those planted in that area. And then here's one of my Florida native wetland gardens. I've got some swamp twinflower, Stokes aster. The cut leaf coneflowers are coming up. They're going to be blooming soon. Of course, we have snow square stem, and there is also scarlet hibiscus in here. My prairie coneflower, which those blooms looking like they're finishing up. An Orangium integrifolium, which, oh my gosh, when those flower, oh, well, you'll be hearing about it because I love them. And then this is one of the things I moved. This pot right here was back over by my golden canna in the potted garden section. But all of these plants like sun, and they were just kind of hidden back there. So I moved the whole pot out, and this has blue mist flower, purple top vervain, a Zebrina mallow, and a coneflower. I thought, well, maybe if I move out here and get that coneflower out here, it'll actually flower. So we'll see. It's a test project, but I love having the purple top vervain out here because it gets really tall, and it looks cool blended in with the tall zinnias in the background. I think it's very pretty. Okay, so I had to move back over here into the shade because I was getting hot. I was right over there, right out in the full sun, and I was like, I can't anymore. I tried to come out in the middle of the day because this is when there's a lot of butterfly activity. Hopefully you're seeing them on camera, flitting around here and there. And so we're just gonna hang here for a minute, let me cool off, and then I'll go back over there because I have more things to show you in the full sun. So I took a little longer break than I planned. I went in, I made my chocolate protein shake, which is fabulous. And then I heard my neighbor was mowing, so I thought, well, we'll wait till after that. And now some clouds have shown up, which I'm actually grateful for because it'll make it a little cooler. So let's get back to checking out things in my garden. So I believe we were here, and I moved the red trash can that was here. There's Ray. Hi, Ray. But this was full of weeds, my little walkway to my little bench. So I pulled all those weeds out the other day, and it made such a difference. I really like how neat it looks now through here. I trimmed down the Plum Crazy salvia, and it will put out some new blooms, but there's some back here that have the actual plum color. Isn't that beautiful? And then I went crazy in my other Florida wetland garden. I'll show you from the front in a minute, but I also want to show you the clustered bushmint has come up, and you can see I'm just in here trimming it because I want it to shrub out more, but it is blooming and it's a pollinator favorite. It doesn't necessarily have to be in a wetland garden, but it's very happy in my wetland garden. There we go. There's a Polydamas swallowtail. Not staying put for long. They keep going after each other, but you got a glimpse of it. There's a cute puppy. Okay, I'm going to come around to the front of the Florida native wetland garden. So remember how I showed you I found a swamp milkweed in there? I thought, well, what if there's more? So I trimmed down all of the narrow-leaf sunflower. I left the Elliott's aster and the clustered bushmint. There's another clustered bushmint coming up right here. And the reason I did that is so sunlight can get in there in case there's any more swamp milkweed coming up. And I also have this lizard's tail, and now it is getting access to more sunlight due to trimming back all of those narrow-leaf sunflowers. The narrow-leaf sunflowers don't bloom till fall, and they should still bloom, and they'll actually probably split out, and I'll end up with more blooms. They just won't be as tall. I left the Elliott's asters because one of you, who is it? Is it Cindy? Posted on our community page, which, oh my gosh, you guys keep posting there. I love it. I love it. That your Elliott's aster was blooming. So I thought, well, I'm going to leave mine go. I'm not going to trim them back because I want them to bloom. And of course, you know, sweet scent. I love this plant. I don't know what it is about it, but I love it. And so do these little pollinators. So that made a really big difference in the overall look of this because it gives it definition of tall and short instead of just one big mass clump of greenery. And my little potted wetland pot there is doing well. There is a swamp milkweed in it. Oh my gosh. Would you look at that? So what ate that? Yeah, that's an Asclepias incarnata. And something ate it all. Oh, and there goes my barking dogs. Okay, so we're gonna take another break because my neighbor just got the mower going again. And I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I ran in and threw a load of laundry in. It was fabulous. So there's still a few leaves left on this. It would be my guess it could have very easily been caterpillars because when they get big, they can eat down a whole plant. But the question is, where did they come from? And where did they go? And that is something I will not know. Little poetry there. Okay, let's move on. Look at the snow square stem. Oh, giant swallowtail just flew in. Oh, that was a polydamas swallowtail just flew by. So look at the snow square stem. Look at that. I swear it's bigger than it was when I showed you. When were we just here talking about it? In the last video, maybe? Very recently. Look at that thing. So I was going to trim it back when I went on my mad tear trimming. When I did the trimming in there. See how it has like definition now? It's not this solid. I love it. Anyway, I think I'm gonna let it grow. I'm not gonna trim it. And we'll see how big it will get. Like, how big will this thing get? And if you're not sure which one I'm talking about, it's that big round shrub right there. It's a snow square stem, Florida native. Gets these little white flowers on them. Pollinators love them. I think they're beautiful. I love their stems. I just love them. They're all over the place in my garden. Especially when they're blooming. But this one in particular is just forming into a little round snow square stem, and it's cute. So I think we might have to name it. I didn't do any trimming in this garden here. It's pretty much the same, except a while ago I trimmed back the starry rosin weeds. Well, it wasn't a while ago, but it wasn't that long ago. But you can see, look, it's got the new growth coming in. And everything in here is pretty much the same. The salvia is still blooming strong. The verbena still blooming strong. The potted verbena in the hanging basket that's being swallowed by the snow square stem. That one's still blooming. This one I trimmed back, and you can see there's a lot of new growth coming in on it. So I think it's probably gonna bloom again. So that'll be fabulous. Same over here. I didn't do very much trimming to this flower garden, nectar garden. It's pretty much the same. There's a little Horace's dusky wing flying around in there. I've got some pretty zinnias coming in. I love the color of this one. Look at the shade. It's already starting to go to the other side. Not quite a fresh bloom anymore, but the color of it is just beautiful. I've got a white one there. It's got a Horace's dusky wing, enjoying nectar from it. There were some pink ones. What happened to the pink ones? There's something, look at that. There's the petals. See, something came and ate my flowers. You can see the tops there. I didn't cut those off. There was a flower there, and there was one down there. My rats might still be coming out and eating stuff in my garden. There's so much in my garden though now that it's not as noticeable. There's a couple of pink pentas back in there. This Mexican sunflower right here has got a ton of buds on it. Right now it's not blooming at all, but it's going to. It's like it took a little break. So it'll be good to have that one back in action because that's like the most popular flower in my butterfly garden for the butterflies. Back down here on this side of the nectar garden, I don't come down here very much. There's a Bahama Senna in here that is growing back. I gave it a good trim because it was growing really weird. It had like these weird long stems and then it would want to fall over. So I just trimmed the whole thing down and now it's shrubbing out nicely. But then my little strong bark right here, which is absolutely adorable. This is a native plant and I do believe it's actually called Little Strongbark. It was completely overgrown with, guess who? Tropical sage. There's a scorpion's tail growing in there. So I got everything cleared out around it to give it its space because you can see like it's getting the little miniature oranges on it and it looks like it's gonna start flowering. And this is just the cutest little plant. And I'm so glad I uncovered it in time because in the next few weeks, I have a feeling we're gonna have some little flowers to look at. And it looks like I walked back here just in time. This is my garden work area. I usually don't bring people back here that much, but I noticed these guys right here. And they are on the very, one of them just fell. I'll get them. They're on the very last leaf and they've eaten everything back here. This is where I put some pipevine that's growing back and apparently it had eggs laid on it. Oh, there's another little one right there. Okay, so I'm gonna go move them. I'm not taking them in, but let's move them. Come here, booger. So my obelisk trellis has lots of pipevine growing on it. And there's also some pipevine swallowtail caterpillars on the potted plants in there. So I will move all three of those guys over here. These guys are so fast. I'll see them when I take them in to raise them. They just move across the enclosure so quickly. Okay, here you go. Trust me. There you go. Yeah. You gonna let go of my finger? Let go. There we go. Here's the last one. He's crawling up my arm. Let's see if we can get him to get on a leaf. There you go. Yeah, that's your plant. You have to think about it. Are you on? Nope. Hold on. You gotta grip on. There you go. These guys are like clumsy polydamas too. They fall really easily. I'll be showing you more about that when we get into the lepidarium later this week. I redid the whole thing again, and I have some new guests in there, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss anything. Anyway, these guys tend to fall a lot, so even when I transfer them onto a new plant, be very careful letting the leaf go, because if it flaps, they'll just fall. Okay, they're all three settled on now. Back to our garden tour. So back in my potted garden area, well, I have lots of pots, but just about everything in here is potted. The salvia right there in that really pretty pot I picked up at, oh gosh, did I get that TJ Maxx or maybe Ross? I'm not sure. But you can see how unhappy it was. It was over getting full sun. So I moved it back here where it's getting partial sun. And just looking at the top leaves, it's so much happier. So that's where that other pot was I just showed you that had the blue mist flower and the Zabrina mallow and the coneflower and the purple top vervain. That pot used to be right there. Then I also, there's another horse's dusky wing. I also had the little blue teapot picture sitting on top of the pot with the Bacopa moneri coming out of it. And all of a sudden it didn't look so good. So I took it out and did a little surgery on it. So it's growing back. And I have this pot that has a lantana and a cosmos in it. So I thought, well, I'll just put that up there in the meantime, because butterflies love a lantana and cosmos. And then behind them are my hanging baskets with the corky stem passion vine, which is also a host to the zebra longwings and the Gulf fritillaries. And blooming gorgeously in the background to those is my butterfly pea, which is a host of long-tailed skippers, which I am so grateful to be seeing in my garden again. They were here earlier in the year and then they completely disappeared. But now they're back. I've seen at least one a day for the past 3 or 4 days. So I'm hoping to get more and more of them. And my golden canna, look at the seeds. See, these are going to seed, but look, you can see in here. You can see the seeds in there. Isn't that cool? Listen. It's crunchy. So I'm gonna get some of those. I'm gonna get some of those seeds out. Actually, I'll probably come get them as soon as I'm done filming. They're loose in there. I'll just pick them up and bring them in, because I'd love to be able to grow some of these on my own. I still haven't seen any signs of the caterpillars, the Brazilian skippers, because they'll roll the leaves, so it's pretty evident when they're present. But I hope to get some, because that's why this plant is here. It's the host plant for them. But this plant is also gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. I love the leaves. I love how tropical it looks. And it is potted in a wetland pot that has no drain holes, because it likes to live in water. So that's the life I gave it. You can see there's water at the bottom of it because we just had a good rain. There's also some Bacopa moneri or water hyssop growing up in there. which is the host plant to the white peacock butterfly. I put that in the bottom of just about every wetland pot I have. That's what this is. I was just talking about over here. That's just an empty pot, and I just stuff this in around it and keep water in it. And right here along my wall, I have a bunch of random plants. These two are spice bushes that had been munched down by caterpillars, and they're just out here growing back. This is a good spot for them because it gets partial sun, so it gives them enough sun to get what they need but not overwhelm them, so that they're able to focus on growing new leaves. And that is a little sassafras tree that was getting too much sun where it was. That's why its leaves look like they do. And now it's sitting here where it gets a little bit more shade, and it is happily growing. This is a little fire spike. What color is it? It's the red fire spike I grew from a cutting. You can see it's doing very well. And this is a silver buttonwood that was down along the fence behind me. Right back there. It was hidden down there. I had shown in a video that I thought I was going to dig it out, move it. Well, I did. I put it in a pot, and I moved my potted pagoda plant back in there, and I just love how it looks there. It's tall. It brings visual interest there. I've got the two obelisk trellises that have the Passiflora incense growing on them, and they're both blooming. And then down below is the salvia, the mystic spires. And then I moved the vitex tree that I have in a pot. It was there. I moved it over here, so we have a better view of the mystic spires. And I don't know, I just love that pagoda plant right in there. And you know what's funny, as I said once before, haven't seen a lot of butterflies on the pagoda plant. As soon as I moved it there, I saw butterflies on it. I was like, it literally went from here to there. I think there have been butterflies on it all along, and it's just that I happen to be here to see them because it's been hot. And I've also been very busy with my daughter, who was here for a week and a half, and we were just off doing stuff all the time. There's a little fiery skipper down there on the mystic spires. Their host plant is Biden's alba, which I have a patch of just on the other side of the fence here. That's a little golf fritillary checking out the zinnias. There's a spice bush swallowtail that's had some wing damage on the red pentas in there. Look at those poor wings. They can still fly. that, I believe, is a pipevine swallowtail. It just joined us. It's over on the red pentas now. There's two horses, dusky wings. There's the pipevine swallowtail. On firebush, they love firebush. It looks like it's got a little wing damage too. There's a ton of little pollinators. They all look like those little green bees. This is the tea bush. I think it's Malochia tomentosa, scientific name. It's just buzzing with excitement. Here's some baby caterpillars on the bronze fennel. These are eastern black swallowtail caterpillars. Oh, there's some eggs on there too. Yes, I will probably move them into the lepidarium. There is another pipevine swallowtail. Looking to lay eggs on my barely grown back pipevine. And look who's right here, y'all. Another one. Look at this little baby. Oh my gosh, it's adorable. And you know what? This is a Polydamas swallowtail, and this little baby is moving into the lepidarium. Yep. It clearly does not have much left to eat out here on this plant that's trying to grow back. Well, it's getting later in the day and I've got a lot of footage already. Like the video's at 44 minutes and I haven't even edited yet. So, I mean, it'll come down, but anyway, I think that we've seen a lot and there's so many beautiful butterflies out. I hope you can see them all flying around in the background. Like the camera doesn't see them like I do. And I'll see on the screen, it'll look like there's nothing there, but yet there's a lot there. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and there's so many fun things coming up this week. So make sure you have your notifications on so you'll see when I upload. My uploads tend to be random, but you can always go and look. This is how I go on YouTube now. I go in and I hit the little subscription icon at the bottom, and that brings up all the people I'm subscribed to and shows me their newest content, because I find the YouTube homepage, it gives me good stuff and I like going and looking there too. But a lot of the people I'm subscribed to do not show up there, even though they have new videos out. And it's kind of frustrating to me because then I miss their stuff. So in order to get around that, I just go into the subscriber tab and then I can see all the people I follow and all their new videos. And I watch all the ones that I want to watch from there. And then I'll go over to the home screen and see what YouTube is suggesting me, because YouTube suggests a lot of good stuff too. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you next week. If you haven't already tapped the like button, please tap it. Just give it a tap. Bye, everyone. You know, I was just thinking I hadn't seen the monarch, And look who's on one of the zinnias. Well, who was, till the Polydamas swallowtail shooed it away. Oh well, it was good to see for a moment. Monarch butterfly. There'll be lots more coming. That's for sure. If I have anything to say about it. Oh my gosh, a queen just flew in. And the monarch was there with it. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I'm going to keep my phone with me because I'm just out here. Here's the queen. It's a male. I'm just out here doing some things. So I'll let you know. Oh, there's a giant swallowtail back there laying eggs on my wild lime. Everything happens when I officially stop filming. Now it's gone over to that side. Maybe it'll get the wild limes there too. I have 2 big wild lime trees right there. Host plant to the giant swallowtail. Yep, there she goes. She's on the outer edge. Oh my gosh, that's fabulous. Oh, yep, there's the egg. Well, I'm gonna go take that in.